Thank you very much. Good day. My name is Johnson Dehinbo. I will be presenting this paper co-authored by MG Maluleke. We are both from the Department of Computer Science at the Tshwane University of Technology in South Africa. So this paper is titled A Secure Minibus Taxi Pickup System for Children on the Single Passenger Taxi System. If we look at the taxi system in South Africa, it has been a solution to transportation problem in the country, but at the same time, it has brought up a lot of security issues, especially as a lot of kidnappings have been happening here and there. So as much as it is good for the society, a lot of this has been reported also in other studies that the transportation is becoming so unsafe, especially in the urban areas. So various methods have been conducted, various research have been conducted to ensure that children are safe using taxi applications. However, methods tend to be inadequate due to children still going missing here and there. Once in a while, we hear stories here and there. So that brought us to the idea of trying to develop this research paper that will encompass an application which will involve using a taxi application to ensure safety of children, because at the end of the day, we believe that our children need to be protected, they need to be safe in order to have a sustainable future, keeping in mind that children are the future, so we need to ensure their safety. So this study uses a design science approach in which we develop a system and then we test the system and see how it will be able to contribute towards sustainable development in the society. So an application is developed and is implemented both on the mobile app as well as on a desktop app, so that as the system is designed, is that as soon as the student is entering into the taxi, then a fingerprint is going to be used so that the child will press his fingerprint so that it will be recorded as entering into the taxi. And then as soon as the child comes out at the destination, then the fingerprint will also be taken, and also that of the driver will also be taken to confirm that the child has successfully reached the destination. So this is basically aimed at giving the parents peace of mind so that they can be sure that, oh yes, their ward or the children is safe at the destination where they are supposed to be. So in following the design science approach, we are following the 6 steps of design science research approach, beginning with the problem identification and multiplication, moving on to objectives of the solution, the design and development, and then the demonstration of the app, and then the evaluation of the system. The evaluation part is a very critical part because that is the part that will ensure whether it is actually meeting the needs and the objective where it was started. And last step is the communication, which is the current step we are going on here, which is to publish the finding so that it can be used for professional experiences for other people, and even other students in future can learn from it. So those are the 6 stages of design science approach methodology that we are using. And I need to also point out that as we go through the steps, there is also what we call the retrospection, which means at any point in time, we can go back one step and be able to see if there is need to adjust some things at that level or not. So the system development eventually came up with a system here, which the first step is to add a child onto the platform. And that is done by entering the relevant information, including the surname, the username, the password, so that the child can also log in. So whenever a parent wants to request a trip, then they can also click on the request a trip, and then they choose the coordinates where the child is to be taken, and then the coordinates or the area where the child is supposed to go, or where the taxi will drop the child, and then they will click on request. Just like the normal other apps like Uber and the Taxify and other things. So the driver will be able to see that request, and then the driver that is close by or that is interested in accepting the trip will click to accept the trip. So the three layer for the architecture will be, we have the view layer in which the computer itself is connected to the internet, and is also connected to the fingerprinting system in the car. And then we have the application layer, which is the layer that we developed that is behind the scene. And that is also linked to the data layer, which is the layer that contains all the necessary communication that will ensure that the system is working perfectly. So on starting the trip, then the taxi driver will also have to press his own fingerprint to start the trip. So it will be recorded, because we don't want a situation where any driver, because one of the things that we learned that is happening these days is sometimes you request a taxi, and that taxi is supposed, they give you the plate number of the taxi, but by the time the taxi the Taxify or the Uber arrives, you see a different taxi. So we learned that people, the taxi driver, they sometimes sell or they outsource this trip to other drivers, which can be dangerous because now, another person is picking the child or even the passenger. So if anything happens, how do we trace it to the right person? But with this system we have developed, then the right driver is going to press the fingerprints in order to start the trip. And then as the trip progresses, it will be showing the maps, even on the site of the parents that has allocated the child to enter the taxi. So we can see the directions where the trip is taken. So one can easily know whether the taxi is going in the right direction or not. So in concluding, the developed taxi application has been judged good by its parents, and indicated that they are comfortable with their children using the kind of app because of the way it shows every details of the movement, and because of the way it also shows who is involved. So there's no issue of outsourcing drivers or outsourcing the trip to another taxi drivers. So the fingerprint system ensures that the right person is the one that takes the child, and the right person is the one that drives the child throughout. And then the parents see the trips as it is progressing up to the point where the child is dropped. So everything as it is going will also be communicated to the parents so that they have the peace of mind. So with that peace of mind, the parents are so happy to be able to say this is a system that will prevent kidnapping and that will ensure sustainability of our children or our future generation. Thank you very much.